In this video I'm going to be riding the red trail at Haldon Forest. As you can see from the map, I'm going to be riding the Ridge Ride Trail, which is 6 miles long. We start off by following the green trail round to the red. Along this section you can pick up some speed as it's so flat. Now we can start on the more technical section. This section is quite flat and not very long. All this section does is get you to the downhill sections. I would call this more a blue section of trail, but it's considered as a red trail. There's a few sections along here that they could definitely work on to make it more fun, like this flat turn. Now this is where the downhill starts. There's a mini jump. Along here it's quite flat, but you can pump and keep up your speeds really easily. There are also some small berms, so if you carry enough speed out of the jumps, you might be able to have some fun on them. This section is also really gravelly and slippy, so you want to try and stay on the trail if you can. After you've entered the woods, there's a few jumps and a little bit of downhill, but it isn't that exciting. There are also a few sections where you can pump to go even faster. You will also need to watch out for some of the slower people and overtake when you can. Thanks. Then we have a few rocky steps which aren't very challenging. They're a bit like a rock garden. After going along the fire road for a few minutes, we can now join back on the red trail. This section of trail is really easy to pick up some speed as it's really flowy. The rock gardens here get a bit more challenging than the first few, and they're a lot more fun. If you're going a bit faster than me and don't have people in front of you, some of these bumps you can pump. Once you pass the people, the trail gets a lot more technical and less flowy. Here the trail gets a lot more fun and flowy because it zigzags so much. Here we are coming up to a small jump, so you might want to pick up your speed a bit. Also, there are some pretty bumpy rock gardens. And a nice big berm. There are also some steep uphills entwined with the downhills. Now there's a little bit more downhill and then we have a bit more uphill. You will also need to watch out for a rock garden, which is quite steep going down and quite flat at the bottom, so you don't want to go over the handlebars and go down the hillside. Also, these bridges add a little bit more fun to the trail. After cycling up the hill, we've now made it to one of my favourite sections of downhill. This section is really fun, flowy and jumpy. As you can see, there are also some small lip jumps on the trail, but there's also a workaround so you don't have to take the jumps. Also bear in mind the trail today was quite wet and slippy, so I'm not going as fast as I could in the summer. Also, if you do take the jumps which are on the side of the trail, some of them are not rollable, some of them you have to jump. Some of the rock gardens are quite technical and rocky, but they're really fun to ride. And so is the rest of the trail. Recently they have also rebuilt loads of sections of the trail, so it's a lot smoother and a lot more fun to ride. On some of the bridges I used the very end of them as a mini jump. We are now coming up to one of the flowiest sections of trail. Here there's a really fun flowy berm. And some sections which you can pump. We are now at one of the fastest sections of the trail. Here there is a fun mini jump which you can get some big air on. Here there are also some really fun flowy berms. I like how they have a mini rock garden here, as it adds another technical feature to the trail. There are also some mini rock jumps down here which are really fun to do at speed. Then we come up to, in my opinion, one of the toughest sections of this entire trail. It is a steep, rocky, technical berm, which is really tight. After a long fire road up, this is where the trail starts to get worse. It's not very technical, and I could probably call it a blue graded section. It's very long, flat, and not very fun. After I crossed over the road, there's a bit more technical section, but it doesn't last for long. It's only about a minute. I recommend for some of the more boring sections to try and ride them as fast as you can. Overall, I think the Red Ridge Ride Trail is a really good trail and I'd recommend you to have a ride of it. It's quite technical in some places and quite easy in others. The only thing that I would do to improve it is to change the different types of trail into more technical instead of some easy and some hard. Thank you for watching this video. As always, in my map related videos where I ride trails or explore trails, I will link the map that I use down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.